And hi, good morning, everyone. Ayan, okay na. Hi, my name is Sina. Thank you for joining us at Sprout HR and Legal Experts by Sprout. Kamusta naman kayo? How's everyone doing? I know that it is now a very crucial time for HR and a lot of us are adjusting to this situation. But with perseverance, resilience, and leadership, we will get through this. So, just to give you a brief introduction to who we are, Sprout is an HR technology company that helps your company take it to the next level in terms of taking care of your people. We provide systems and support for recruitment, timekeeping to payroll, and analytics. And now we hope to be able to help you lift up your team during this crisis. So today we have four very knowledgeable attorneys and consultants who are here to give you different tips on how to lead your company from outbreak to breakthrough. So while waiting for everyone to tune in, I'd like to introduce the raffle mechanics for today. All right, so next slide, please. For the raffle mechanics, all you have to do is collect all three keywords that will be flashed on the screen throughout the seminar. Then follow our official Facebook page, Sprout Solutions, or at Sprout Solutions PH. Comment all three keywords on the post pinned on our page, and we'll announce the lucky winner at the end of the session. We'll also be sending the Lazada gift certificate code through email after the session before 3 p.m. So please prepare your questions for the fireside chat session later and ask them anything on your mind with regards to legal matters concerning our topic for today, which is SSS, Pag-Ibig, Philhealth, BIR, and SEC updates regarding COVID-19. Without further ado, I'd also like to introduce our first speaker. He is the Data Privacy Officer and HR and Legal Consultant of Sprout Solutions. He has previously worked in reputable law firms and private companies as a labor and tax lawyer, counseling mostly for HR practitioners and company managements. He is a proud alumni of Georgetown University, where he obtained his degree in human resources management, focusing on labor relations and diversity and inclusion. He also holds a dual degree in law and business from De La Salle University or Eastern University Consortium. I'd like to welcome Attorney Jay.
Thank you, Sina. Hi, all. Can you all see me right now? Thank you, Sina. Can you all see me right now? Okay, good. Today is April 1, and it falls as April Fool's Day, how we wish that the COVID pandemic is just a joke or part of a practical hoax. But unfortunately, it's not. It's real and it's here. And but it also signifies to all of us that April 1 is the start of a new month. So for Sprout, we really wish everyone that this will be a start of a healing month for everyone, and that we will be able to return to normal, no. So but for today, we make the best out of the situation by offering you webinars. I think this is the fourth webinar, and our discussion for today will revolve around the four government agencies: the SSS, Pag-Ibig, Philhealth, BIR, and SEC, no. And the reason why we pick this is simply because our organizations deal with them on a normal basis, on a regular basis, no. Madalas po buwan-buwan ay nakikipag-usap po tayo sa mga ahensya po na ito. Next slide, please. So our goal for today is to be able to answer the question of what are the recent COVID-19 updates with these government agencies, no? Because a lot of us are really looking for clarity, understanding, and guidance on the regulatory frameworks that are governing our situation right now, no? Gusto nating tanungin, tayo ba ay mananagot tayo ba ay kailangan pang magbayad ng ating mga mandatory contributions? Kung hindi tayo nakabayad, are we liable for penalties, no? And also, what are the assistance that we can provide to our employees? Next slide, please. Okay, just to give you a refresher, we all know that we are already in the state of calamity and in an enhanced community quarantine, no, by virtue of Proclamation number 929, which President Duterte declared that the whole island of Luzon and the Philippines is under a state of calamity for a period of 6 months starting March 16, 2020. No? And that for the enhanced community quarantine, it will be implemented from March 17 until April 13, 2020. But it can be further extended or earlier be lifted depending on the circumstances, no, but who determines basically whether it will be lifted or not? It's the National Disaster Risk Management Council that recommends to the president whether there's already the situation warrants the extension of the state of calamity or the lifting of the state of calamity order, no. um, and the reason being there is that if the state of calamity basically tells us that there's already a major damage or major disruptions in the livelihood and in the way we run our business operations by the reason of the occurrence of a man-made or human-induced hazards. No, in our scenario right now, COVID is the perfect example. We can all debate whether COVID is a human-induced or a natural hazard, but we can all agree that it is sufficient for the president to declare that we are under the state of calamity, correct? No? And also under the enhanced community quarantine, everyone is actually mandated to observe the stay-home quarantine. Even the government is mandated to regulate the transportation, to regulate also the provision of health services, and as well as the provision of basic needs. And our military personnel are actually mandated to strictly implement the enhanced community quarantine. That's why when you go out of your places or of your homes, no, you would see in the barangays that there are, or barangay boundaries, that there are checkpoints that are manned by military personnel. So these are the reason why we are already in the state of calamity or under the enhanced community quarantine. And the ECQ, by reason of the ECQ, we see a lot of disruptions in the way our government is functioning right now. No, next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, so just to give you an example, SSS is already in a skeletal workforce, pero operating pa po sila from Mondays to Fridays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. No? So according to their website, they are generally accepting all services except humid applications and transactions. No? But they are also encouraging members, if they're only looking to access their records or to view their eligibility and documentary requirements for benefit and loan programs, or they just want to inquire on the status of their benefit claims and other transactions, they can just simply log in the my.sss portal. No? Siyempre gusto po ng SSS na maging ligtas din po ang ating mga empleyado. Philhealth also announced that they will be in the skeletal workforce, but they promised all members that they will be providing staff in their offices. They call them the Philhealth Customer Assistance Relations and Empowerment Staff, or PCARES. No? They are also open from Mondays to Fridays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. But again, Philhealth is also encouraging its members that if your only concern is the online registration, member inquiry, claims eligibility checking, contribution, collection, accreditation, members are encouraged to access these through the My Philhealth portal. We are already in lockdown. We are not sure if this scenario is still okay. I just want to disclaim that these are based on their websites. Mas alam nyo po dun sa inyong jurisdiction if your respective government agencies, no, that where you fall ay bukas po sila. So feel free to message us in the chat room para po malaman din po ng bawat isa, because most of us are, I believe that most of us are operating in Metro Manila. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay. One back slide, please. Okay. And then also Pag-Ibig already declared that their work is suspended nationwide starting March 2020 until further notice. No? But they also offer us alternative ways of submitting and filing and paying. No? They opened their electronic system already. No? But if you have urgent concern, you can call Pag-Ibig hotline, which is 8724 4244 or chat them via their www.pagibigfund.gov.ph/dash chat, no? And they're open between 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. from Mondays to Saturdays. Their email is also there. You can freely contact them. I just made a call this morning, and I can assure you that they are open, no? The BIR declared also that that they are open only for the national office from March 28 to April 15, no? And the national office in Diliman, Quezon City already covers a lot of revenue regions. So taxpayers from Caloocan City, from Manila, from Quezon City, from East NCR, from Makati City and South NCR they have to go to the BIR national office if they have concerns, no. But again, they also encourage everyone because pretty much everything is online and available in their website. You can just for the BIR forms, you can just go and download the forms via online EBIR forms, no. And if you really have to pay, there are online payments merchants that are accredited by the BIR, such as Paymaya, GCash, and other banks as well. No, for SEC, they already declared that their work is suspended until further notice, but their electronic filing is still working. So if you want to file your GIS, although it is extended, if you still have to file some of your documents in the SEC, they will accept the electronic filing. But the physical work right now is suspended, no. If you are in the process of registering your business, the website of the SEC is still available and still functional as of this time. Okay, next slide please. So let's now go to the updates, no. Let's start with SSS. So SSS announced through an advisory that they are already extending the contribution payment, no, and it covers all regular employers, household employers, self-employed, voluntary, and non-working spouse members, no. But for regular and household employers, the months of February, March, and April 2020 will can be paid until June 1, 2020. You can pay earlier, of course, but you are given the extension to pay until June 1, 2020, no. For all others, such as the self-employed, the voluntary, and the non-working spouse members, for their contributions for the months of January, February, March 2020, you can pay the contributions until June 1, 2020, no. And for the succeeding months, you should pay them accordingly already. Now, the question there is that, attorney, bakit yung sa regular and household employers wala pong month for January, hindi po kasama sa extension? Well, the reason being is that, during the time of January, we were still not under the enhanced community quarantine and not under the state of calamity. So the government assumed that you already paid legally your dues, your SSS contributions, no. Kaya hindi po kasama yung January for regular and households, only the February, March, and April 2020. Okay? Next slide po tayo. What can you offer to your employees or to the members of the SSS, no? Of course, SSS as a calamity loan assistance program, or what they call the CLAP, no. This is open to all contributing members, no. And the members' employers, or kayo pong mga employer, you must be updated in the payment of contributions and loan remittances of your employees, no. And also, the member must have at least 36 monthly contributions, 6 of which should be posted within the last 12 months prior to the application, be a resident of the calamity declared areas and suffered losses damage to their properties, have not been granted the final benefit, katulad po ng mga retirement, total disability benefit, and death benefit, no. And of course, you should have no outstanding calamity loan or no outstanding restructured loan. The period of availment po is you can avail this within 90 days or within 3 months from the declaration of state of calamity, very much similar on how or on when you can avail also your Pag-Ibig calamity loan. This is also payable in 2 years, but the interest is 10% per annum, and you will incur a penalty of 1% of penalty per month if you fail to pay on your due dates, no. Now, the difference between the Pag-Ibig and the SSS is that the interest here in SSS is actually higher, no. SSS provides a 10% interest versus a 10% interest, as opposed to Pag-Ibig that only carries 5.95% per annum interest. But here, the service fee is waived, no. Okay, next slide po tayo. Now, in the scenario that you really have to close your business, and unfortunately we don't want to reach that stage now, because in Sprout we really encourage employers to be compassionate to their employees. So as much as possible we want to make them afloat and be able to sustain their living while we are in the work from home, or we have these work disruptions, no. But in the scenario that we really go to close our business, SSS also offers cash benefit, no, to its members who are involuntarily separated from employment. But there are of course qualifications, such as it should not be over 60 years of age, that the member has paid at least 36 monthly contributions, that the member has not settled unemployment insurance or involuntary separation benefit within the last 3 years, because you can only claim this benefit once for every 3 years, and has been involuntarily separated. And one of the reasons for involuntary separation is that because of natural or human induced calamities or disasters. And COVID virus or the pandemic really falls into this, no. So this is actually open for all employees who will be separated by reason of the COVID pandemic, no. So when can the member claim this? The member can claim this within 1 year from the date of involuntary separation. And how much can he claim, no? It's half of the employee's average monthly salary credit for a maximum of 2 months. Actually, the Department of Finance is projecting that there will be around 30,000 to 60,000 employees who will lose their jobs by reason of economic fallout due to this COVID pandemic, no? And I think SSS assured us through their announcement and pronouncements in several news and interviews that they are ready to shoulder these cash benefits to the affected employees, no. But again, yung mga empleyado po dito na mga na-separate by reason of voluntary separation, at yung pong involuntary separated pero po natanggal because of disciplinary actions such as gross negligence, commission of crimes, yung po mga ganong kadahilanan will not really permit them to avail of the cash benefit under this circular number 2019-011. Clear po tayo so far? Yeah. So next slide, please. Now let's go to Pag-Ibig. The good news about Pag-Ibig is that they offer a 3-month moratorium on all loans. Meaning to say, if your payments due between March 16, 2020 until June 15, 2020, you can pay them after this period, no. And what's covered here, no? Basically, the Pag-Ibig housing loan, the multipurpose loan, the calamity loan, provided that you are residing in Luzon and in the National Capital Region. So in other words po, makikita nyo po na the Pag-Ibig is really trying to help us defray our expenses as well, no, because of the effect of the enhanced community quarantine. So kung hindi po tayo makakalabas ng mga bahay natin, kung hindi po talaga tayo makakabayad, lahat po ng loans na nasa ilalim po ng Pag-Ibig ay meron po tayong 3-month moratorium. So ito po ay good news po para po sa atin. Next slide po. Ano po ang pwedeng makuha ng ating mga miyembro sa Pag-Ibig? There are 2 loans that are available in Pag-Ibig right now. You have the multipurpose loan and you also have the calamity loan. Very much similar on how the SSS loan is working. No? So for Pag-Ibig, they actually recently launched the e-filing system for this, meaning to say employees and members who want to avail of the multipurpose loan and the calamity loan don't have to go to the physical office of Pag-Ibig. In the first place, no, they already announced that they're suspending work. So the alternative mode of filing for all these loans is via online. So what will be the step there, no? You just have to accomplish the forms, the multipurpose loan form, the calamity loan form, and then send it to your HR or authorized representative, and have the HR representative sign the portion at the back for his signature or her signature, and then he or she will send it to Pag-Ibig directly to the Pag-Ibig office that has jurisdiction to your organization. No? If you want to check the details of this, you can go to www.pagibigfund.gov.ph. Yan. Next slide, please. So yung pong multipurpose loan po natin, this is a cash loan designed to help Pag-Ibig members with any immediate financial need, no? And the loanable amount here is 80% of members Pag-Ibig regular savings. What is covered by the regular savings, no? Ito po yung contributions ng mga employers, the contributions of the employees, and the accumulated dividend earnings of the employers. So 80% of that will be the loanable amount under the multipurpose loan. Question, pwede po ba namin attorney na mag-loan kami ng multipurpose loan and at the same time avail also of the calamity loan? Well, the short answer there is yes, no, you can. But the problem is that Pag-Ibig will compute the difference between the 80% of regular savings and the difference between the 80% regular savings and also the outstanding loans, no? So kung ano po yung natitira nyo doon, yun lang po ang pwedeng utangin ng mga miyembro. So if you just get your multipurpose loan right now, it would not be prudent or not be practical for you to avail of the calamity loan at the same time because basically you will not get anything. So kung meron po kayong mga nauna nang nakapag-avail of the multipurpose loan and planning to get the calamity loan right now, medyo baka po mas malaki po ang makuha nyo dahil kayo po ay nakapagbayad na po ng mga pangilan-ngilan, no? Next slide, please. Pag-Ibig Fund Calamity Loan. Ito po ay available din po katulad ng SSS loan, available din po ito sa mga empleyado po natin. And this is given to all those members, Pag-Ibig members, who reside in areas declared under a state of calamity and are affected by such disasters. Again, sa declaration po ng state of calamity, while we are very accustomed to our president just declaring the state of calamity, our local government officials, particularly the local chief executives, have the power as well to declare the state of calamity, no, by virtue of the recommendation of their local disaster risk management council as well as their local sanggunian or legislative body, no. So kung meron pong deklarasyon ang inyo pong lokal na gobyerno, maaari pong magamit yan para po sa pag-apply po ng Pag-Ibig Fund Calamity Loan. Katulad po ng nangyayari po noon sa panahon ng Taal, kung maaalala nyo ay nagkaroon po ng calamity loan grant doon po sa mga naapektuhan ng pagputok po ng bulkan, no. But in our scenario right now, since we have a COVID and the entire country is placed under the state of calamity, no, so pwede po nating i-avail yan ng ating mga kamiyembro po ang Pag-Ibig Fund Calamity Loan. Of course, there are qualifications again, no. Ang qualifications po dyan ay the member must be an actively contributing member, no? Hindi po nakapaltos sa pagbabayad, hindi po nakapag-skip ng pagbabayad, no? And residing in an area declared by the office of the president or the local sanggunian under a state of calamity. I already explained this a while ago. And at least 24 monthly membership savings and sufficient proof of income to qualify. Medyo mas stringent po ang requirements ng Pag-Ibig Fund Calamity Loan as opposed dun sa SSS. But madali naman po itong na i-release po, no? But also, if you have any existing Pag-Ibig Fund, housing loan, MPL, and calamity loan, your payments must be updated for you to qualify. So kung meron po uli kayong na-skip or meron po kayong nakaligtaang bayaran po sa alin po dyan sa mga utang na yan, yung pong miyembro ay hindi po pwede mag-avail ng Pag-Ibig Fund Calamity Loan, no? So how much is the loanable amount? Qualified members may borrow up to 80% of their total Pag-Ibig regular savings. Again, this is the employer's contribution, the employee's contributions, as well as the accumulated dividend earnings, no. Now, ang pinagkaiba po ng Pag-Ibig Fund in terms of the loan amount is that yung pong sa SSS ay it can only go as high as 20,000, no? Or the SSS will take a look kung magkano ba talaga yung danyos na naidulot sa'yo at titignan ng SSS kung alin ang mas mababa. So I think the highest there would be 20,000, but it can really go lower depending on your savings in SSS. Dito naman po sa Pag-Ibig, this is 80% of your total Pag-Ibig regular savings po, no? So the period of availment, very similar to how SSS calamity loan works, within 90 days or 3 months from the declaration of the state of calamity. So if the president declared the state of calamity sometime in March 15 or 16, no, you just count 90 days. And then from there, pwede nyo pa pong i-avail ang ating Pag-Ibig Fund calamity loan. Katulad po ng sinabi ko kanina, the interest for Pag-Ibig Fund calamity loan is way lower than the SSS calamity loan. Here, you only have 5.95% per annum as opposed to the 10% per annum of SSS, no? And the terms is this is payable within 24 months or 2 years and comes with the initial payment due on the third month after the loan release. As opposed dun sa SSS po, also payable in 2 years, but the initial payment will be due on the second month already once the loan is released. Okay? Clear po tayo? Okay, next slide please. Now, ito po yung mga steps para po ma-submit ng inyong mga members or Pag-Ibig members ang kanilang multipurpose loan and calamity loan. No? Very easy because fortunately, Pag-Ibig was able to come up with how to submit this electronically even before the filing of the COVID. But unfortunately for SSS, they're still looking on how they can offer electronic filing and submission of the loans. No, I think sometime in April, according to an interview made a few days ago, they will release a guidelines on how members can avail of SSS loans electronically. But in the meantime, here are the steps for the multipurpose loan and the calamity loan. No? So first, you just have to accomplish the MPL or the calamity loan application form, which you can download here. I think we will provide you the slides, no, para you have all these guides already available at your disposal. So that's the calamity loan link, and also the MPL link is already there. Now, the member just have to request the employer or the authorized company signatory, who is usually the HR, no, to sign the application agreement portion of the form. The application agreement portion at the back of the form basically tells that you are guaranteeing that the individual has the sufficient money and has the sufficient income and is an employee of your organization, no? So yun po ang ibig sabihin nun. And then the member may just send the copy of the completed application form to the HR, and then that HR individual can you next please, sorry. And then the individual just have to scan or take the photo of the following: one valid ID, also the loyalty card plus the land bank or DBP cash card. Unfortunately ngayon, you cannot go to Pag-Ibig to get a loyalty card plus. So hopefully if you have the land bank and DBP cash card. If you don't have these cards at all or any of these three, unfortunately you won't be able to get any of the multi-purpose loan and calamity loan. But who knows, you know, if you approach and go to Pag-Ibig, they might exercise humanitarian and compassionate compassion, and then they will allow you to avail of these loans without even these requirements, no. And then the next step is that you just have to send a scanned copy of photo of your loan application and requirements to the designated email address assigned for your employee's office address, and your employer can check also the office address of the Pag-Ibig that has jurisdiction over them. So the link is also here, the www.pagibigfund.gov.ph. So almost all the emails of the Pag-Ibig offices that have jurisdiction for your office or your principal address is already there. Now, while we wish that this can be expedited, no, sana po mabilis i-release dahil kung talagang kailangan ng ating mga empleyado. Unfortunately, the average processing day is really between 7 to 20 days. No? It's 7 to 20 days, but according also to their advisory, it can even take more than that or expect delays because of the current situation, meaning to say because Pag-Ibig right now is in a work suspension, baka hindi po agad babigay. So yun po yung sinasabi po nila. But rest assured as well na once your application for loan is approved, you will get an SMS message from Pag-Ibig, no. At yung pong inyong loan application is already credited to your loyalty card plus land bank or DBP cash card, whichever is applicable for your employees or for the member. Okay, alert raffle keyword number 2 po tayo, loans. Okay, next please. Now, what about Philhealth, no? according to Philhealth, we still have to pay our mandatory contributions. And I do understand this because, we are in a pandemic situation right now. For sure, they want to have the needed funds to defray all the expenses related to it, just in case there will be an increase in the number of cases pa, di ba? Very understandable. So, in-encourage po nila tayo na instead of us doing the payment physically, we can just do it via PhilHealth local health insurance offices or through all accredited collecting agents and buy centers. And there are also accredited online banks. No, Security Bank is there, BPI, Union Bank, Land Bank, Citibank, and BankNet. Next slide, please. So, what are the benefits that your employees can or members of PhilHealth can get from them during this time? No, first, of course, while we don't want this to happen to us, the cost of testing. No, I think the average price of testing is around 6,000 pesos, and PhilHealth assured us that if we proceed to their accredited office or accredited hospital rather, they will answer or shoulder the cost of testing 6,000. While we don't want that to happen, but just in case it happens, they're ready to shoulder it. No? And if in the scenario that we are considered as a person under investigation, or we really unfortunately suffered the COVID or carry the COVID virus, and we put ourselves under isolation or observation in an accredited PhilHealth hospital, they will provide us isolation package worth of 14,000 pesos. No? But on top of that, assuming that you already have the COVID virus, which of course I don't wish nga to happen, no? But just in case it happens and we suffer pneumonia, say for instance bilateral pneumonia, no, we will get or severe pneumonia, we will get 32,000 economic package for that. No, and I believe PhilHealth already said that they're trying to implement rather a zero billing balance, meaning to say, but I think this is only applicable for private and public health workers, that for all medical expenses of private and public health workers in case of COVID exposure or work-related injury or any disease during the duration of the emergency, PhilHealth will shoulder the hospital bills. So that's the zero billing balance project of PhilHealth. But hopefully, sana lahat ng members po masama po dyan sa zero billing balance project of PhilHealth. There's no announcement yet. Hopefully in the coming days magkaroon po ng announcement si PhilHealth na lahat po ay makasama na. Okay. Next slide, please. So BIR updates basically just extension. Wala pong announcement as to payment, only extension of forms for annual income tax return. From April 15, it's going to be moved to May 15. For availment of tax amnesty on delinquency, April 23 to May 23. Certificate of residence for tax state relief. These are particularly applicable for withholding taxes and final taxes. No, move from March 10 to April 30. Withholding taxes for dividends, royalties. So mostly hindi po kasama dito ang mga empleyado po sa na-move po na ito. No, unless of course meron po ditong mga empleyado na nakakakuha ng royalty or dividends po. No, pwede pong magamit po yung certificate of residence for tax state relief extension. Next slide, please. And also, kung kailangan po natin sumagot sa mga formal assessment and also preliminary assessment of the BIR, we are given 30 days from date of filing to respond, or to reply to them to these letters of the BIR. No? So ito po ay usually naman ay alam po ng inyong finance department, and also your accounting firm will be able to assist you on this. No? Okay, next slide, please. Okay, paano po kung talagang pansamantalang kailangan nyo pong isarado ang inyong negosyo? Will there be way for you not to pay the mandatory contributions, say SSS, and don't pay your taxes, also your PhilHealth? No? Ito po yung sinasabi po ng kanilang mga websites. If really you are forced to do temporary closure, cessation of business, it's very prudent that you submit all these forms, and notify them, these agencies, that you are temporarily closing your business. For SSS, you just have to use SSS form RA which basically provides you the form of change of business status. In there, you can say the reason why. There are tick boxes there kung ano po ang dahilan, say others, and then kailan po nyo planong magkaroon ng temporary closure, and then when do you intend to resume again. No? For BIR, notification of suspension also of operation, but also in the tax forms, kung wala po talagang income na nireceive ang isang empleyado, pwede po nating sabihin na zero or nil lang po ang ilagay natin sa mga forms po nila. It signifies already that they're not payable, they are not liable to pay any due for that month because of zero income. No, for Philhealth, you can also access the ER3 or the Employer Data Amendment Form, and in there, again, you can state the reason why you are temporarily suspending your business and submit the form to them as well. No, para po makita po nila kung kailan po kayo magre-resume uli ng inyong negosyo just in case. So all these three agencies, SSS, BIR, Philhealth, have these forms available at their disposal. You can download these forms actually. Download these forms po, no? But unfortunately for Pag-Ibig, there's no advisory yet, no? As of this morning, I made several calls to them, and then they told me and advised me that there's no advisory yet as to whether they will allow businesses who are in temporary closure to change their status. So the idea there is to for the employers to still pay, no? But doon naman daw po sa kanilang status update ng mga empleyado, you can just put that they're on leave, and then therefore wala po tayong dapat bayaran daw kung wala pong income na in-earn ang isang member at for Pag-Ibig for that particular month. Let's wait for further announcement from Pag-Ibig. I think they will clarify this further, no? Okay, next slide, please. So, ang SEC also made several updates, no? And this is a very, very good announcement. They released the adoption of debt relief measures by mandating that all institutions, financial institutions such as banks, quasi-banks, financing companies, lending companies, and other financial institutions, whether public and private, including the GSIS, SSS, and Pag-Ibig Fund, to provide borrowers, no, a 30-day grace period for the payment of all loans. No? Lahat po ng klase ng loans, meaning to say salary loan, personal, housing, motor vehicle loans, credit card payments, pwede po natin itong hindi muna bayaran, but if we are willing to pay, of course, that's okay also. But if we cannot, we're given a 30-day grace period to pay all our loans, no? Ngayon, this should not incur penalties and interest, because the idea here is that this is part of the Bayanihan Act. No? Ang idea po dito is magtulungan muna po tayo sa ganitong mga pagkakataon. As much as possible, we give leeway na magkaroon po tayo ng chance na makabawi muna or masustain po natin ang mga pangangailangan natin bago po tayo magbayad. Now, kung hindi po ito ipapatupad sa inyo ng mga sinasabing institusyon, ng mga bangko or ng mga lending companies, no, they can be liable, no. Ang nakalagay po dito ay imprisonment of 2 months or a fine of 10K but not more than 1 million, or it can be both po, no. So ito po ang ginawa po ng SEC updates, but we are not sure if this will cover also corporate loans. But since it says here that it's all loans, so we can say that corporate loans are covered, but that's something that you have to discuss with your legal. But mostly here are are loans that pertain to individuals, like the motor vehicle, personal, housing, and all. Okay, next slide, please. So, ang ating pong Office of the President also passed the Bayanihan to Heal as One Act last March 25 or March 26, if I'm not mistaken. So, ang sinasabi po dito is that the government will provide emergency subsidies to 18 million low-income household between, actually, that's 5,000 to 8,000 a month for 2 months, computed based on the prevailing regional minimum wage rates. I think the leading agency here is the Department of Social Welfare and Development, but the details of how it will be implemented has not been out. So we're still waiting for the formal announcement of the DSWD. But recently, I saw one in Facebook, but hindi ko alam kung ganun po ka-reliable, no. Ang covered po yata nito ay yung mga empleyado rin na no work, no pay, no. So yung po mga nasa informal sector, sila po yung bibigyan. So I think you can assist your employees kung talaga pong sila po ay considered as low-income household, na sabihin po natin sa kanila itong impormasyon na ito so that they can go to their respective municipal welfare and development and have themselves registered, no? Kasi I think right now the DSWD or the MSWD, are already updating the database and going around to see and determine and identify who really are these low income households. We still have to await, kung ano po ba talaga yung coverage nitong emergency subsidy po na ito. And then there's also a compensation of 100,000 for private and public health workers who contract severe COVID-19 infection while in duty, and 1 million for those who will die while fighting COVID-19. Of course, why we don't want this to happen, this is how much the government is willing to provide for our private and public health workers. No, it's between 100K to 1 million, 1 million being the severe kapag po meron pong nangyari. Next slide, please. Next slide. Oh, I think that's the end of my presentation. I really hope that you were able to learn a lot from us. We will definitely share this presentation to you guys. Our department will send it out to you. But if you have questions, I think we are now open for the question and answer portion. Sheena?
And hi. Yes, thank you, Attorney Jay, for that very informative talk.
Thank you.
So, yes, everyone.
Marami kang natutunan, Sheena? Did you learn a lot?
Yes, naman, Attorney Jay. I learned a lot already in just
Uh-huh.
a few minutes of your talk. So for everyone, thanks for sending in your questions in the chat as well. And don't worry, we will be addressing them in a while. But before that, I'd like to announce the third raffle keyword. So next slide, please. So the next raffle keyword is bayanihan. I hope you guys were also able to catch the first two earlier. So those are government and loans. So ayan, may clues na. And again, all you have to do is collect all three keywords that were flashed on the screen. Follow our official Facebook page, Sprout Solutions, or at Sprout Solutions PH. Comment all three keywords on the post pinned on our page. Then later on, we'll announce the winner at the end of the session, and we'll also be sending the gift certificate code through email after the session before 3 p.m. So with that, I'd like to introduce our panelists. So let's welcome Attorney Lester. He has 12 years of human resources management experience with progressively increasing scope and responsibility in the IT, BPO, consumer goods, manufacturing, and government sectors. At present, he practices the following fields of law: employment law, contract management, data privacy, administrative law, and family law as an advisor and as an advocate. So we'll also be having Ray Salvador. So I think for those of you who have attended the previous episodes, you'd also already met him. So he is actually a seasoned audit and risk management professional with 9 years of experience from various industries like IT, BPO, tech companies, manufacturing, real estate, financial institution, and service companies. He had performed a wide range of engagements from conducting audit and finance, IT, operations, compliance, and taxation to assisting companies in establishing their risk management procedures, including business continuity plans. He is a certified public accountant and ISO 31000 certified lead risk manager. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can keep asking your questions using the Zoom chat, and our panelists will be addressing them.
Hi, Attorney Lester, and hi, Ray.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Attorney Ryan. Good morning, Sina. Good morning, Ray.
Morning, everyone.
Yes, good morning, Attorney.
Okay, so I did cherry pick some of the questions from the chat. So salamat po sa lahat na nagpadala ng questions. This is hot off the press. Secretary Dominguez of Finance just released the implementing rules and regulations of Section 4 of the Bayanihan to Heal as One Act. Ito po yung nagbibigay ng what you call this, ng moratorium on all loan payments. So Sina, I think we should attach a copy of the IRR of the loan moratorium rules in the Bayanihan to Heal as One. Bagong-bago lang po ito. While Attorney Ryan was conducting the webinar earlier, a notification popped in my inbox, and apparently this was signed just today. So we would like to share this with you. We will not be able to discuss it yet because it's happening as we are speaking, no? But yeah, maybe in subsequent material that we will be releasing as part of this webinar, we will also have a discussion on what the moratorium on all loan repayments imply for businesses, particularly for human resources. So lahat po ng questions kanina pertaining to the interest of all loans, pertaining to SSS and Pag-Ibig loans, as well as I saw a question earlier regarding the credit card issuances. In-include po dun sa IRR ang credit cards. So we will not endeavor to explain it now because we just got it over email now. Pero please read it. It's the IRR of Section 4A of Republic Act number 11469, otherwise known as the Bayanihan to Heal as One. Okay. So all the questions pertaining to the interests of loans and payments of loans, ito po yung makakasagot. Okay?
Alright. So,
very fluid kasi, Attorney Les, ang sitwasyon ngayon, no? So almost on a daily basis,
Correct.
you get to... I'm sorry.
Yes, go ahead, Attorney Ryan.
Go ahead.
So ang sitwasyon kasi natin ngayon, we learn as the day goes, no? So ang nangyayari is almost on a daily basis, we get to receive new advisories and new circulars from these government agencies. Hopefully, no, magkaroon na nga tayo ng mas malinaw na guidelines sa iba pang mga kailangan natin.
Yes, that's correct, Attorney Ryan. I'd also like to address a particular question earlier regarding holiday pay on April 9 and April 10. So kailangan po muna nating i-determine ano po yung naging setup in your office, in your organization. Are you on temporary closure of business, or are you on work from home or other flexible work arrangement? If you are on temporary closure, that means that there is no work, no pay. Or if there is work, nag-a-apply po or rather, if there are leaves to be applied by the employees, maaari po nilang gamitin yung leaves na yon so that during the period that the company is temporarily closed, they are paid using their leave credits. So yun po muna ang unang tanong. If you are on temporary closure, the general rule of no work, no pay applies. That also applies to the holiday pay for April 9 and 10. So kung wala po kayong work, dahil temporarily closed yung business, wala rin pong bayad. But if you are on work from home or alternative work arrangements, the rules are clearly explained in Labor Advisory number 13. Remember po natin, April 9 is a double holiday. So it's Araw ng Kagitingan and Holy Thursday. So if you were with us during the last run of this webinar where we discussed labor standards in relation to April 9 pertaining to holiday pay, ito na po yung iniintay natin na labor advisory pertaining to payment of wages. But they still adopted the regular rule on double holiday, which is 200% if unworked, subject to the requirement that the employee was present or on leave with pay on the day prior to the start of the enhanced community quarantine on March 17. So ang lumang rule po, kapag present ka before the day of the holiday, double pay ka na dun sa holiday or holiday pay eligible ka. Ngayon, dun siya sa day on March 17. Dun po yung reckoning period. So this is very different from the regular rule natin as stated in the Statutory Monetary Benefits Handbook. Yun pong Labor Advisories number 11. Labor Advisory 13 series of 2020.
And thank you for that, Attorney Lester. So, attorneys, may question din po tayo earlier regarding can I still file for a loan in Pag-Ibig even if I became unemployed during this pandemic?
The question is for Pag-Ibig, tama ba?
Yes,
What,
Attorney
what, what,
Lester.
what's the question, Sina? I'm sorry, your line is breaking up. Sorry.
The question is, can I still file for a loan in Pag-Ibig even if I became unemployed during this pandemic?
Well, that's the thing there. Kung bumabagsak siya dun sa eligibility, meaning to say that yung contributions niya is up to date pa rin. Kahit siya ay unemployed, self-employed na siya or wala lang siyang trabaho ngayon, he can still qualify to apply, no? Provided that, he has all those qualifications and none of the disqualification. So in other words, the fact that he has no work right now will not prohibit him from getting a calamity loan so long as he qualifies, no? So long as he has all the qualifications, rather.
Yes, and just to dovetail yung answer ni Atty. Ryan, ang kailangan dito is yung number ng contributions, no? So prior to the loan, dapat may number of contributions ka na ma-reach. I think it's 24. Please reach out to your Pag-Ibig office so that you can really find out what's the actual number. But from my recollection, it's 24 monthly contributions prior to the availment or application.
Yes. All right. So next question po. Sige po.
Sorry, Sina, meron lang kasing isang tanong dito na gusto ko sanang i-address, no? I also
Go ahead, Attorney Jay.
some of the questions. Can I just address this? So, ang tanong is, yung bang mga credit cards daw applicable, yung bang loan payment moratorium applicable lang daw sa personal loan? What about corporate loans, no? That's actually the question there. We don't have a clear guidance as to whether the corporate loans are covered, but it states there in the law, in the SEC advisory, that all loans are covered. So, perhaps while it's not really indicated, you can argue with your loan provider, no, that and insist that there's a loan moratorium. Baka pwedeng gumana, but of course, we cannot say na gagana nga, but baka lang. Because the law is not clear.
I-dovetail ko lang, Atty. Ryan, yung response mo. I think the answer will
sure.
really be found in the implementing rules that was just signed by Secretary Dominguez today.
Okay.
Paki-check po yung implementing rules on Section 4 of the Bayanihan Act. Ito po yung particular to the loan moratorium. So please review it. We are not able to provide an answer based on that IRR now because hindi pa po namin siya nababasa in depth. Ngayon lang po lumabas siya habang nagwe-webinar tayo. We were fortunate to have monitoring efforts in place for government issuances pertaining to the COVID pandemic. So kaya po meron kami agad knowledge kung bakit meron na nito. So yun po, please read the IRR of the loan moratorium issued by Secretary Dominguez just today. Ang worry ko nga, Atty. Ryan, is April 1 yung timestamp. So sabi ko pa, sana totoo. Yun yung hirap sa April 1 na issuances, no?
Okay.
May mga mapaglaro po kasing
But
mga tao.
But Attorney Lester, just in case that they don't qualify for any Pag-Ibig loans or say even the SSS loans, no. But if they are members of the Sprout University, no, if they are using our system, I think they can avail of our InstaCash, no, for zero interest. I think that's one of the benefits that's being offered by our platform, no.
Yep, and I think yun pong mga qualified organizations, we have been plugging this in our webinar since the webinar has started. Your organization may be qualified to avail of the rescue kit. So for a period of 60 days during this enhanced community quarantine period, if your organization is 50 employees or less, you may be eligible to avail of free payroll services from Sprout during this community quarantine period. So please reach out to us through our website and social media pages so that our team can reach out to you and make you hit the ground running in implementing the rescue kit.
Yes, that's right. Thank you, Attorney Lester. Oo nga. Actually, the Instacash would be really helpful for them, and also the rescue kit. So for the next question po from the audience, mostly of the loans or financial assistance are for employees. Is there any program that these entities can extend to employers? Surely they are a direct hit and not exempted with the current situations also.
Yeah. Regarding the the question is pertaining
Are
to
you going
what
to address
is,
that,
yes, yes.
Attorney Lester? Okay, sure. And then I'll dovetail after you, okay?
Yes, thank you, Atty. Ryan. So, may mga assistance packages po na inahanda ang ating gobyerno. Right now, I think the government is just prioritizing the aid. So, ang inuuna po nila really is the informal sector. If you remember, previously there was the camp. Diniscuss din po natin yun in the previous episode. So, we hope that all of our audience members have already applied and are waiting for the payout of the camp benefit from the DOLE. May hinahanda pa po na ibang assistance ang government. Hintayin lang po natin. Of course, these plans take time, and there's a lot of planning involved. There are fiscal measures and fiscal effects that will be felt not only for the entrepreneurs and the MSMEs, but of course, the overall fiscal position ng ating government. So let's wait. Please be patient, and as responsible citizens, please, you definitely would have access to your lawmakers, to your contacts in the organizations, in the government agencies. Please be good citizens at this time and provide healthy criticism or positive or constructive criticism and feedback and inputs to the government, so that collectively yung intelligence po natin matap yung, because the entrepreneur sector, the MSME sector, hindi naman po yan, we downplay, formal enterprises usually, tingin natin sila yung organized, malalaking mga negosyo. So the MSMEs should not feel na nadedehado sila, kasi magaling po ang MSME sector ng Pilipinas. They are very inventive, very entrepreneurial, and a lot of really bright ideas in this COVID pandemic response actually came from the MSME sector. So please make your voices heard in a very responsible, respectful, and constructive way.
So piggybacking, Attorney Lester, on what you've said, you're right that MSMEs is really our backbone of our economy. But the government is helping them. If they just go to the DTI website, there are available loans for MSMEs and micro entrepreneurs, businesses. So nandun po lahat. Meron pong P3 program doon. You can avail capital loans from DTI. The details are provided in the website. For example, P3, you can actually get a loan of up to high as 200,000 from DTI Negosyo Center, I believe, or from the DTI itself.
Okay. So for our next question po from the audience, hi sir, nagpa-forced leave ang aming office with very limited or sporadic work from home tasks to a certain group of people. Should we still file those mentioned for temporary closure for both BIR and SSS?
Sheena, what's the question again? I'm sorry.
Yan po. So, nagpa-forced leave ang aming office with very limited or sporadic work from home tasks to a certain group of people. Should we still file those mentioned for temporary closure for both BIR and SSS?
Well, kung yung forced leave na yon ay yung mga individuals na yun are still earning, I think they still have to pay the mandatory contributions, no? I think that's a very clear mandate of these government agencies, no? So makikita pa rin doon sa kanilang system kung ito yung mga empleyado na to na naka-forced leave ay kumikita pa, then they really have to pay, no? But hindi na siguro kailangan pa na magkaroon ng notice for temporary closure because hindi naman yun yung pinaka-tenor. It's just a certain department, but rather I would just go to just update the real status of these employees, no, but not the status per se, change the status per se of the organization kasi hindi naman buong business ang nag-temporary closure.
All right, so for the next question, we are looking for a payroll provider to replace our current provider. Can you extend your assistance to us? We currently have a manpower of less than 80.
Attorney Lesser, do you want to answer that?
Yeah. Please please coordinate with us. Kindly provide to us your email address, and we will do our best to provide the services that you are looking for. One of the advantages of Sprout is that we can actually do remote implementation. Hindi po natin kailangan pumunta sa premises ng client, and as long as we have the proper paperwork and identification in place and duly signed, kahit po e-signature, pwede na po kaming tumakbo. So please leave your contact information with us, and we will ensure that our team reaches out to you and gets you up and running.
And let me just add there, Attorney Lesser, that our system is capable of generating the mandated reports for these government agencies. So really no hassle on the part of the client there or the employer there. No, everything is pretty much automated.
All right. So it's almost actually 12 p.m. na pala din. So we're currently down to our last question. So for clarification, are the employers not required to pay for the contributions if the employees has no earning for the month? Is this applicable to SSS, HDMF, or PHIC?
Yes, that's kung wala po talagang kinita, so wala po tayong ire-report simply because, but it's very absurd though na ang isang empleyado ay nawala ng isang buwan, no? But kung talagang wala siyang kinita, ay wala po tayong ibibigay na mandated contributions. You just have to update in your respective system yung status ng mga empleyado na ito.
I'd like to add lang to what Attorney Ryan said, no. In these cases, please make sure that you comply with Labor Advisory 9-2020. Ito po yung ating establishment reporting form, which is also one of the requirements for the availment of camp benefits, yung 5,000 assistance. So if you will be placing any of your employees on work from home, forced leave, or temporary closure, kailangan nyo pong gawin yung establishment report form. Dahil sa dalawang bagay. Number one, the camp availment, and now number two, para po maiwasan niyo yung possible legal liability for constructive dismissal.
All right, so actually our time is already up for this panel discussion. So for the questions we weren't able to answer, we'll email everyone who joined this webinar a list of all your unanswered questions with advices from our attorneys. Thank you everyone for participating, and thank you Attorney Lester, Attorney Jay, and Ray for your inputs. So please, for all your other questions and concerns, please email legal@sprout.ph so that our attorneys would be able to address them as well. So, and for now, the moment we've all been waiting for, our two lucky raffle winners are and who will be our winners? So the first winner is Mr. Jerome Alfred Alfalfa. We are all virtually clapping for you, Sir Jerome. Then our second winner is virtual drum rolls. And so it's Mr. Jerome Alfred Alfa Farap pala, ayun, Sir Jerome. For our first winner. So our second winner is Miss Riza Mantequilla. And so Miss Riza and Sir Jerome, we would be emailing you the Lazada gift certificate code no later than 3 p.m. today. So please await that in your email inboxes. And so before we end, I'd also just like to inform everyone that with Sprout HR and Payroll, you can continue your work at the comforts of your home, given that we offer a cloud-based system. Also, for our upcoming events like this, please follow our social media pages, our Facebook page, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. You can also use these hashtags to be up to date to our posts. So it's hashtag outbreak to break through, business as usual with Sprout, and so on. So don't forget to use these hashtags. And also, we can send you your e-certificates for attending this session. And so here are the instructions on how you can get them. So you can email a request to info@sprout.ph. Please indicate your full name, company, and position. Then we will be able to provide you with an e-certificate for your attendance for today's session. So with that, I'd again like to thank everyone who attended and also to our panelists. And that concludes our session for today. Thank you, and please keep safe and well in your own homes.
Thank you.
And thanks, everyone.
Ingat po.